Thank you for joining us. You can see that we have a big audience today. 3 speakers that we will introduce in a few minutes. So we're going to wait a little bit to have more people joining us. How are you guys? April, Nikki, Cash, Paula?
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Indeed it is. I love that
this time.
background, Paula.
It's my festive background.
Very festive. Very festive.
We're getting ready for the holiday season. I think this is one of my favorite ones. I mean, it's personal also because my birthday is after all these holidays, so for me it's like so exciting. I like it.
So when is
I
your
like that.
when is your birthday? Sorry, when is your birthday, Mons?
January 5.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it's like
Happy
the
birthday.
starting of the year. Thank you.
I always
Sorry.
like this time of year because it gets a little quieter around the holidays, and it's a good time to catch up and plan ahead. So,
In terms of like business, you mean April?
yeah, I think, and not yet, but I would imagine next week it'll start to get a little quieter.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe
Yeah.
an office party in your future.
yeah, we always have an office party, so that's fun. Do the Yankee swap. As we're
It's a tradition, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it gets a little vicious. It gets funny.
It's good. It's fun.
Do you close the office, April, like during the
Yeah.
holidays, or just the Christmas and New Year?
We're going to be closed this year because of the Christmas is on a Thursday. We're closing Thursday and Friday, which is great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
It's always good to give your team recharge time,
Yeah.
especially in the insurance business, because we follow bankers' hours. Nobody's really expecting you to be open.
Right.
And your team deserves that, I think.
Yeah, it's a big family time.
It
So,
is, it is. And they get to recharge their batteries. This work is no joke, man. It takes a lot of mental power and physical power, energy, it's really comes down to energy. And I expect my team to be 100%, as we all do. And so when it's time to take off, it's time to take off. It's
work
one of
hard,
the
play hard. That's what we always say.
it's one of the rewards in being in the insurance business. I never skipped gymnastics for my kids, soccer, always shown up for them. And the insurance industry made that possible for me. Even though, of course, I I put a lot of hours in, but it's given me flexibility.
And
It's
you
one
would
of the,
answer that text message if someone sent it to you.
yeah, I mean, with technology, April, Paula,
Oh,
can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. With technology, as it has been increasing, you're able to get good at multitasking even better. I can be present, but I can also engage with clients. I can keep the customer experience high, but I can also have quality time. So people used to always think you can't do one or the other. You can,
You can't.
for the most part. In fact, it energizes me to be able to help a client, because that is really my ethos, legendary customer experience, but also be a good leader at the home. You could do both.
Yeah. And speaking of doing both, I know we're going to get started in a minute, Montserrat. We have a lot of attendees, and we actually have 2 Brooks and 2 Lisas. So I don't know if they're cloning each other out there or what's happening.
That's right. So let me share my screen. Thank you all for joining us. As you know, this is going to be the last webinar of the year. So we are so excited for, of course, having these speakers and, of course, having all the participants joining us. As every other Wednesday, we have these webinars. So the topic that we are going to cover today is going to be success spotlights, top agencies that they are going to share their InsuredMine stories. So let me go ahead and introduce part of our presentations, like why these webinar matters. Like, you're going to learn about these three magnificent agencies. They have different processes. They have been in InsuredMine for different time, and also they have a AMS 360 and Epic. So you will see kind of the difference between how you can operate in InsuredMine and their experience. That is not going to talk InsuredMine per se. You will hear it from someone that is using InsureMine. And before we start, I would like to ask our amazing speakers if you can introduce yourself and, of course, your agency. So, April, Cash, and Nico. Nikki, can you go ahead? April?
Sure. Yeah, my name is April Wiseman. I work at HPM Insurance. We are an insurance agency with 5 locations in New Hampshire, but we do write throughout New England and down the East Coast. We have about 30 plus employees, and we write all lines of business, so including P&C and health and life.
Thank you, April. Nikki?
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm Nikki. I work with Kingsgate Insurance. I've been with them 5 years in April. And I'm really in charge of InsuredMine and all the different resources that we have and we offer to our clients. We have about 23 people right now in our office. We just acquired a new agency back in July and we turned 35 this year. So we have a lot of things going on. We're growing. Our growth goals are huge. So it's just a very exciting time for us. And I just love InsuredMine in general.
Thank you, Nikki. And Cash?
All right. My name is Cash Fidai. Fidai like Hawaii. Founder, CEO of Fidai Insurance. Started 20 years ago. One-man show when I started. Just faith, hard work, grit. I got lucky. I did pretty well. And there's about 35 of us. My biggest challenge was scaling. So I decided to scale by franchising. So I became a franchise, Fidai franchise. Because finding good producers isn't that hard, but keeping them sometimes is challenging. So I discovered that we needed people with skin in the game. So franchising became extraordinarily amazing. So we did that. So now we're a franchisor. I love the business. I love people. What else? I feel like I just got started. I love InsuredMine. What's there not to like? Price point's good compared to these other ones you have to customize. What else? Customer service. It's pretty awesome. Everybody at InsuredMine is astute and agile. I love that. And I love the bi-directional with Epic. And lastly, InsuredMine gives us consciousness. Pipeline cards. It's more nuanced. And as long as you learn the language of IM, it takes a little time to learn it. It's pretty good. It's working out for us really well. Anyways, that's a little bit about me, and glad to be here to contribute.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Cash.
We call it IM lingo, right, Nancy?
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you both for, well, not both, the three of us to joining us today. We're so excited. And so let's jump in the success topics. So I would like probably for each of you to hear about like the before and after of using InsureMine, any feature or module that it has changed everything in the platform in your process, like probably the forms or the automations or AI, and how this system has probably changed your time savings, if you have seen any growing in your business, and what are you planning for to have a better adoption in 2026. So April, Nikki, Cash, feel free to jump in.
Well, I can go. So my role is primarily marketing, and I don't use Epic a ton. So, I had a totally different perspective than everybody else in the office, and I kept hearing about all the struggles that we were having about having all of our resources in different places. And so we struggled with tracking sales effectively. We struggled with hitting our timelines on our renewals. And so, like, when I saw this resource, I was like, we need to try this. And it's only gotten better from there. So, um, we were just all over the map. And now this has allowed us to centralize what we're doing and put it all in one place. We can look at renewals on one place. Management can easily log in and look at themselves. We don't have to run Epic reports to see where we're at with our new business for the month. So there's a lot of cool things that InsuredMine does. I won't bore everybody because there's other people that also can share, but it's really helped us to streamline all of our processes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that the before we used to use a Vertafore supported product. We're a Vertafore AMS 360 to track sales, which was essentially a fancy spreadsheet. And this has been more. It's more real time, and it's certainly more visually pleasing and motivating to view and to understand what's coming and what's being held up. So that was the motivation for joining InsuredMine. But I myself am also the marketer here, and what I didn't realize, what we were also gaining was the ability to create email templates really easily and have them, as opposed to people used to going into either their e-signature, their signatures, or a Word document and copying and pasting and things getting screwed up over time with templates, typos, and all that. Now we have a more professional look for communication, which also ties in. We use it for texting as well. So the fact that all of those things can sync back to our management system is just a huge time saver in and of itself. So
Yeah, you ladies have built a very good process. And Cash, I'd love to hear a little bit about what has happened before and after InsuredMine at your office.
AMSs they're built by engineers, which is cool, but they're not sales oriented. Salespeople are typically more, I don't know, right brained, and Epic was very sterile. So you could probably do some of it with the AMS, but we needed something to sit on top of that to make it more. We're a sales organization. Sales is the driving force of our agency, right? We're a sales organization. We have to produce. What's our name? We're producers. The carrier distributes their contracts through us producers. So yeah, I mean, IM is a sales engine, management system, if you will. Well, what do I love about it? Follow-ups. Yeah, touches are important. You're going to have clients that don't want to get touches. Nobody's going to be always happy, right? Stop sending me this stuff, whatever. Okay, fine. Those are outliers. But the majority of people love touches. So, IM does that. It does very well with touches. The pipelines are great because you can go to open pipelines and see what's pending. If it's a service pipeline, we tag the service team. If it's new business, we have automations. Now, why are automations good? Because every stage in our automation has a purpose. One of the biggest pains for agents, I think, is data collection. Well, we have this thing called a fast app. So we send a fast app. It goes through text and email, and the person fills out the fast app. And it's truly a fast app. That's why it's called a fast app. And we get the data. Now, what does that give us? One, they're committed. They're ready to buy. Two, we have the data to give them a good indication. So I love that part of it. The renewal process is awesome because they can't ever come and say, you never told me, right? There's evidence in the communications tab. SMS, email. Yes, we did. Pretty sure we did. Of course, we have a telemarketer. She follows up as well. But the onus is also on us to keep our clients informed and touch them, right? So that's important. sales tracking is great because human beings like to see numbers. Like agents like to see, where am I at? Oh, I'm growing. This is great. And so every morning when they go to the dashboard, they see that. So those are some of the things I love about it. When did I realize InsuredMine was transforming my agency? Before I bought it. Before I invested in it. I already knew because I had been with Salesforce. Is that what it's called? Sales? Yeah. And I had an unpleasant experience with them. They wanted me to spend tons of money to customize it. It was a big money grab. So I learned my lesson, licked my wounds, and then I found you know, a CRM that's customized to my industry. So, anyways, that's a little bit about that.
And I think that's great because it's three similar answers, because it allows you to build the process that you want to follow. So, Montserrat?
I will have one question for you guys. Like, when did you realize that InsuredMine was transforming your agency? When was that moment that you think like, oh, wow, this is happening?
I would say for us, it was when we could be able to develop the intake forms. It's really difficult to connect with people, especially if we get a lot of leads online, which is fantastic. But if you can't connect with them to get the information, then it's a moot point. So I think having those forms created, making them easily fillable and notification to us when they returned was a big game changer for us.
That's
We like
amazing.
the forms too. I agree with that. Forms make everything flow a little bit better. We use automation with forms too. So just by being able to take something off of my account manager's plates is just saving them time and seeing that save them time to be able to focus on more income producing activities or more service roles that they really need to focus on was just a game changer for us. So I agree. Forms and automation.
Gosh.
I would say being able to see accurately what Epic displays, whatever's in Epic, IM did a good job in mirroring that so that my agents would have more consciousness because Epic seats are expensive and I don't want to spend that much on Epic seats, you see? So for me, it helped me with my margins to be able to give more IM seats with the bidirectional power of consciousness, of awareness. That was a game changer for me. I mean, there's a lot of things, but I think that's one of the most important because now you can trust IM because we have a person cleaning up every day. We have one person cleaning data every day. And they've made it where IM is 99.9% accurate to what Epic shows. And that's important for us when we're toggling and helping clients. So that's been really important. Tagging, my team is very efficient. I love that. And then the texting. I mean, it's all good. But I would say that bi-directional was important to me.
Yeah, and so while you kind of answered something similar, so those features, what are the biggest impacts on your efficiency or revenue generation?
Well, the efficiency is certainly not having to take time. People, it's efficiency in both ends of it. It's efficiency for the agency, but as well as the consumer. And I appreciate being able to, especially if someone's calling and they don't have the time to go through the paperwork that we need to gather to get the information, they can do it on their own time. So that's efficient, and that saves the time for the agency for having to gather that information. So again, going back to those forms is certainly saving time. And also the fact that it saves automatically within the management system. I mean, that's a huge time saver. That the fact that we don't have to manually drag and drop and save, and that's pretty fantastic.
And all while increasing your revenue, right?
Well, certainly, yeah. That's that's the goal.
What about you, Nikki?
I I just look at everything so differently. I feel like sometimes than my staff than my coworkers. I really like how I can see what they're all working on and see where's the bottleneck of where we're at so we can change our process if we need to become more efficient. We were stuck in our personal lines new business process and we were bottlenecked for like so long. And by looking at it and actually getting it into InsuredMine, we could change what we needed to do to be more efficient to then capitalize on that revenue. So just like the different things that you can see through it. I like what you said about the forms again. I like what Kasia said about the dashboards. It allows my producers to look and see where am I at? What am I closing? What am I bringing in? What did we lose? It allows them to see in real time what they need to do.
That's great. So if you have to pick one of these either modules that you cannot leave or that your agency cannot leave, which one will be?
In my role, automation.
Automation? April?
Automation in my role.
Cash, April, what do you think?
Well, for me, I'm a marketing and journalism person. So the fact that I know that I have professional communications going out that have been vetted and written properly is a huge relief.
I agree. Hands down.
Communication between, see, the way I run my agency is we're like a we're like a we're like a kosher deli. All right. We separate the dairy and the meat. So sales is sales, service is service. We don't cross those lines. So it's important for my sales people to communicate my service people. So communication is important. IM creates really good communication methods. You can tag somebody from a text. Use that, right? At Mark, follow on that text line, right? That's rapid communication. It's fewer clicks. It's legendary customer service,
And it puts
right?
it all in one place, like what you're saying, instead of a
Right.
separate app.
So Mark gets that email, redirects, he's right there. The customer's stoked. It's the simple things. The simple things are the biggest things. The devil's in the details, right? When a agent sells a policy, they shouldn't spend half an hour processing that deal. We have a to-do list. You click the to-do list on the issue stage and you follow those to-do check marks and you send it to the processing team. The agent should be in the offensive position scoring, shooting goals like soccer. It shouldn't be like, I sold one and now I have to do all this paperwork. No. So we parlay that over to the right people. So we're more efficient. We have to have an offensive strategy. I cannot have offensive people playing defense, right? So it's a metaphor. That's a really good feature that I wanted to point out amongst many things. Lastly, a sales producer should be able to see an overview of their pipeline environment. Why are these people in hold VA? What's up with this stage? What are you not calling them? Like somebody said about bottlenecks, clear up the traffic, move that stuff to the right. Either they want to buy or they don't. Qualify them, figure out what's going on. So that, again, that sort of overview is very important to me. So, those are some of the things that kind of come to mind. There's many more, but that's some. So we could just move along now.
No, I mean, it's amazing because each of you have different perspective, and I would say this is going to also help all of these agencies that we have that they are here today. Plus, of course, what they can start doing in InsureMine that they haven't done, right? So there's different ways that you can operate InsureMine. per se, but also it's going to depend, as we always say, based on the AMS that you have. We have a good integration with different AMSs, but this is going to be like, what are you planning to do in the next 30 days? What is going to be your goals that you want to achieve? It could be small, but something tangible for you, that you will see the results and that you can see the value of the system. So this is great. Paula, something that you want to add? Hi, baby girl.
Sorry, she woke up from her nap too early.
It's fine. We like her. We love her.
We love getting photobombed. You know, and I think Montserrat, a lot of the answers that have been provided here in these last couple of questions are that really the measurable results, right? Since adopting InsuredMine, right? So those things that Cash mentioned, they are measurable. They're measurable to the sales team. They're measurable to the service team. Nikki has a different perspective because she is in the marketing realm and working with all the producers and giving them the tools that they can use effectively and efficiently and measure that, right? So, and it's continual, and I hear the same thing from April as well.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty good.
Yep. Give me, I think my computer freezes, so give me 1 second. I will ask any of the members that we have here in the webinar, do you have any question for our speakers? Probably something that we haven't covered that you want to know.
Yeah, please use the chat option. We'd be more than glad to interject here and answer your questions.
Yes, please feel free. So we have here the chat. I'm going to send you, all of you, a message here in case you haven't seen it. We have here the chat. I saw that Will Gardner has reacted. So
I can answer that question that just popped up.
go ahead, Nikki.
My biggest piece of advice is if you're just starting, to not get overwhelmed by it and to take one thing at a time. Don't try and take off and like do everything at once. Start in one place first.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, gosh, Montserrat, I was trying to think of how long we've had InsuredMine. Probably 3 or 4 years, I think. And it was certainly overwhelming in the beginning, but we just pick what drove you to the product in the first place, and then learn that, but keep learning that sometimes that happens too with the software, especially one that's like InsuredMine that keeps evolving and adding. I think obviously it's sort of speaking to the choir, since everybody here wants to know about what's new and coming and what people are using it for, but it is important to just keep speaking with, if other members who use it, and just trying to speak to Montserrat and Paula and see what else is coming down the road and what you need help with, because they are, of all the vendors we work with, and we work with quite a few, they are the best at client service. There's no question about it. Sometimes I laugh and say, well, that wasn't what was on the box or in the brochure of a certain software we bought. And it's never as easy as they say. But I would say InsuredMine is the exception to that. It's not easy, but at least you have the support that you can call a person should you need it. Because, I mean, chatbots are fine, but if you need to actually speak to somebody, I know that they are more than willing to hop on a call when it's necessary. So, and that's really important to us.
I think sometimes it's trying to just talk through what you envision to make sure that you can deliver that. And I think that's great to hear. We strive for our partnerships, and appreciate your feedback on that.
Yep.
Lisa has a question. So Lisa wanted to know if anyone's using it for servicing. And so I think Cash talked a little bit about servicing.
100%.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how that team.
You just create a service. Thank you, Paula. You just create a service pipeline. You have a new business pipeline, or say you have a new business personal pipeline. You have a new business commercial pipeline. You have a service pipeline. And the service pipeline has various stages that you can create that's custom to your flow, right? And so let's say somebody wants an EOI, add ID cards. Well, you find the account in the search box, John Jones. You go into the account, you go to the pipeline environment, you add a pipeline, service pipeline, stage, CSR, put a description in there, right? And then fire off, opens a pipeline card, go to notes, tag your CSR, Claire, blah, blah, blah. Get it done. Thank you so much. She gets the email and it's being processed. 100%. You can create pipelines for everything.
That's right.
Pipelines, you can create it for escrow billing that, the lender sent a check to Mars instead of your agency, right? And you need somebody to follow up on that. There's so much flexibility and latitude with IM, but it's like learning a new language. It's not easy, but it's simple.
It's just a process, and then you get
The
your team on
process.
board with it. So,
Yeah.
April, do you use the service pipeline too?
We don't use a service pipeline, but we do use it for processing in that in a communication manner, in that if we're trying to do a pre-renewal touch to a client, we do call them, but obviously in today's day and age, it's difficult to reach people. And then we send them out an email with a questionnaire to have them fill up there to see if they have any changes to their insurance. And we have a scheduler link in that email so that we'll be able to schedule an appointment with their account rep. So it's very user-friendly. I know it sounds like a lot of people like to rely on email and texting versus actually calling, but we use it in conjunction with that because it's hard to communicate. It's hard to connect with people. So
Trifecta, right? Email, text, call. That's the trifecta method that we employ.
And everything is tracking. So going back to what Cash said, you're Epic, and Lisa's asking a question about, how that gets tracked, and it all does get tracked back.
yeah.
To your AMS. So how does your team do that specifically for Epic?
Are you talking to me?
Well, for Cash, because he's Epic.
Cash, yeah.
Oh, what were you saying, Paula? What was the question?
So, how do you track that servicing alongside with Epic? So how does that?
Oh, well, everything that you do in InsuredMine, goes to the comments section of Epic. So you have legal evidence. All your communication gets recorded as you're dealing with IM. So it's a beautiful thing. So you can just work on IM and trust that communication history, transcript history, is in your management system, which is the Ark of the Covenant. So anyways, that I hope that helps. And I recommend this is what I did. I hired somebody to build, to customize my pipelines. And it was a good investment. So then I have renewal pipelines, I have cancellation, I have a BOR pipeline, broker of record. I have a claims pipeline. You can pipeline so much and automate so much. So, there's so much dynamism that you can then little by little invest into your CRM.
That's amazing that you mentioned Cash, because also here we have again 3 different perspectives. So you hire another person that is not a Sherpa. April has a Sherpa, and Nikki is the Sherpa of the company.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I do it all myself.
yeah.
No, that's great. To each its own. So you guys are Sherpas then for IM? Is that what it is, Montserrat? They're Sherpas for.
Yeah,
I'm
April
King's Gate Sherpa. I do it myself for her.
Oh, you do yourself. I see.
Yeah.
I don't carry heavy things, so I had to have a Sherpa.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Whatever, if like Nikki might have that creative sort of flow and that might be constructive for her, that's great. I am more of a delegator. I want to work on other key things for my organization. I don't want to deal with that. So I just decided to get it done. And I just said, this is my vision. Please do it. And it happened and everything is good. So I think it comes back to capturing your time, which is your most precious commodity. So however you decide to spend your most precious commodity that serves your organization, that's the key. So, you know, what in this stage of my journey, my time was maybe better allocated in some other areas like creating the franchise and filming and doing podcasts. So I did that. So it's all good. There's no wrong or right answer. It's just a matter of leveraging your time and making the best out of your CRM.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any questions they want to post in the chat? We're not engaging with speakers per se. So if you have any other questions, we'd like to entertain those. Montserrat, do you want to talk a little bit about some of those services that we offer?
Yes, I mean, we started with Sherpa, that it's the virtual assistance program last year. And so far we have seen success with the agencies. Here we have April. She has a Sherpa. And the main goal of this Sherpa is, as we have talked about it, to help you to start seeing the results and the value of the system. Have small wins with the processes that we are going to build, because as this person is expert in InsuredMine, it's also an InsuredMine employee, that every day we are connecting with the person to understanding what will be the best practices, and we build the best practices based on the specific of the agency. It's not based on a process that we already implemented for the rest of the agencies. Every process is going to be adopted based on your needs and of course the AMS that you have. So April, something that you want to share about Sherpa?
Yeah, what I would say about the Sherpa, and I think I probably do split the baby here with, as I knew what I wanted. Well, I did work with InsuredMine for a year or two and understood the product in regard to what its capability was. So I do recommend that you do need to, you can't offset all of the responsibility of InsuredMine onto a Sherpa. You have to understand at least what you want and understand what it can do to try to direct it. Because otherwise you'll both be kind of like flailing. So you need to understand what you want to get out of it, and then they can help you build it. So I had some ideas, and then I wanted it replicated, you know, for employees, so times 10. So my value was creating the process, and then the value of time given back to me was having him duplicate that 10 times. Which was huge. So now when we onboard a new employee, I don't panic in that I have to spend, 5 hours replicating certain processes. They're already done on the back end by the Sherpa. So, and I do also love how the Sherpa keeps you on task. I mean, like anything, like, we wear many hats in the agency. InsuredMine is not my only hat I have to wear. So if I know that I'm meeting with my Sherpa once a week and we're trying to strive towards a goal, it'll keep me honest and keeping working towards that goal so it doesn't get left behind. So that's another, it's almost like a little safety net to make sure that we keep moving. So I like that too.
That's amazing. We have here one question, like, do any of you send any newsletter in InsuredMine?
Oh yeah. Aflac, I advertise home warranties, pet insurance. It's not gonna, make you rich, but it opens the door for other products. You can, so like, there's things you can blast to your clients, and sometimes it works, like castnet fishing. But yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with like that.
And do you
Yeah.
see a lot of good responses on those, Cash?
No, I don't actually, to be really frank with you. I think it gets glossed over. So what you have to do is you follow up with a telemarketing strategy. Then it works. So it's like
Yeah.
home warranty, blast, and then put that in a phone dialer. We use Ricochet. And then the telemarketer calls and says, hey, by the way, did you get that email? And then that will open the door for quoting quoting equals sales. So by
So there's some
itself,
measurable balance there.
there has to be a strategy, but from my experience, just the email won't work. It didn't work for me. But email and calling, yes, it works, in my opinion, in my humble experience. Yeah.
And probably I would say it depends, right? Because which is your audience? Because also I have seen that nowadays the text message is becoming a huge communication part, that you will see more open rates and effective responses rather than email communication. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
always love thinking about the fact that I have a 19 and 21-year-old, and I also, my mother is 84. So if I texted my mother, it would go unnoticed. If I emailed my son, what? What is that? I don't do that. So you just have to know. And I do like how it has specific within InsuredMine, you're able to mark off their preferred method of communication. And I do tell people to pay attention to that because sometimes account reps forget that it's not about what they like, it's about what the client likes. So
Mhm.
Yeah, so speaking of touching your clients, whether it's a newsletter or informative communications, like how often do you do it? Like, do you have a plan like for 2026 that you're going to send out, 7 types of communications, or are they random, or how do you do that?
I don't like to flood people too much, then they'll gloss over it. So obviously renewals are already going out, right? Renewal touches. So, and then we do maybe 6 or 7 specials throughout the year. But the majority of it we'll do on phone calls, rounding calls. Those seem to work the best for me.
yeah,
Nikki,
I'd
what's
agree with
on,
that.
yeah, so Nikki, what's on your calendar for like 2026, and maybe some communications out that are like maybe newsletters?
We're gonna start a quarterly newsletter. For commercial lines, we have our book of business broken out by tiers. So based off of the tier, they're gonna get a different newsletter communication based off of what would be relevant to them. So they're gonna get 4 of those for commercial lines, and after that, I'm not sending them anything else. If I send them more than that, they're not gonna read it anyways. Personal lines, we're gonna start a quarterly newsletter combined with ag, because those kind of overlap a little bit.
Okay,
Um,
talk about what you mean by ag, because we
oh,
know where you're
agriculture.
located
So
in
we're in
Iowa.
Iowa. So we do a lot of agriculture business, so farms, farmlands, all that fun stuff. We do some livestock as well. I don't know a whole lot about it. So and then we have a personal lines book of business. So we're gonna try to account round based off of what we're doing as well. Um, we send out a renewal email to our personal lines clients that we do not touch or consider as VIPs. So they will get a generic email that says, "Hey, have you had any changes?" as a touch point. That goes out to them 60 days beforehand, just to put it in their court that they need to get back to us. Our tier 4 commercial lines business also gets 2 emails, and it says, "Have you had any business changes?" So we're touching on them twice before the renewal happens, and then they're it happens. We don't touch it. Unless they get back to us, that's renewing on its own. And then we have like a life insurance campaign that goes out 3 touch points a year, just kind of saying, "Hey, don't forget about life insurance." And that's set up a certain way. I don't even remember how it was set up. It was one of the first things I set up. And happy birthdays. If you're not doing the happy birthday automation campaign, I recommend that you do it because I get so many responses from it. So
Oh,
many
I
people.
hate that. Really? Oh my
I get so
God.
many emails back saying, "Thank you so much for." We must have a different demographic in Iowa than by you guys. Everyone
We're
loves it by
salty New
us.
Englanders. I don't know. I just
I,
is like, if
I
my
think it's
agent said happy birthday, I'd be like, oh,
I think it's just based off of the demographic where you live. Iowans are just a little different. Like if I lived in the East Coast, I would never recommend that. Like or never. But like where we live, people are just so like I don't know, it's just so different. But that
That's
gets
a
a
good point,
huge
though.
response.
Right.
yeah. That always did always make me laugh when people say, oh, make sure you do your birthday. And I get it. I get it. Like, but in New England, for me,
We don't do any holidays. That's the only one we do is the birthday one. And I
yeah.
I probably have a 50% ratio of people that respond back to me. It's
That's
insane.
amazing.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna maybe circle back with me next year. Maybe I'll
I
have to
think
try it. Maybe
I
I'm more
think it's Iowa.
cynical.
It's Iowa. I gotta tell you, it's the Midwest.
So,
Different.
Cash, what's happening in Houston for birthdays? Anything?
I don't do birthdays anymore. I don't know why, but I did want to say this. Depending on what stage of my I am. So we have, let's say somebody is in a sales oriented stage. We have automations dripping on them for like 60 to 90 days. So I just wanted to make sure newsletters, yes, but another subject, like a subcategory is every stage has tons of automations with drip text emails in an effort to procure that client back so we can quote and sell. When a person buys a policy, we have an out, we have another campaign where we then introduce them to the service department. And this is how you can get service done. So we inform them every 30 days and coach them on claims, how to handle claims, what to do during a claim situation. Changes. Oh, this is something we do, which is it's amazing. This is the best thing ever, right? Life Simple Survey. Game changer. What is that, Cash? Well, your clients are never going to tell you that they rented their home out, and you'll likely never know that. Now it puts them in a vulnerable spot, and it's an E&O exposure for you. How do you solve that? Life Simple Survey. One of the stages sends an application, like an intake sheet, and it asks them, what changes? This and that, all of the nuances. It's fast, but effective. And the person is inclined to tell you everything. Oh, I did my granite floors, and I got married, and I did this and that. And oh, by the way, I want life insurance, and I want jewelry insurance, and I want an umbrella.
And don't forget the golf cart they bought.
Exactly. And you're right. And my umbrella sales have gone crazy because of the Life Simple survey. So I don't like to do newsletters because then that would flood them and they would lose trust in that. I would rather do it in more strategic touch points.
So is that like a one deal automation that you have? So once you mark the card as one in that sales pipeline, then that's what happens.
Yes, it triggers.
Yeah.
And there's a series of copyrighted automations which deal with us being the risk managers. I mean, happy birthday is great. Cool, do it. But I also want to be, I'm your risk manager. Nobody's going to protect you. Not your CPA, not really. Not your, nobody that your banker isn't, but I'm your insurance person. I am here to protect your assets.
Right.
So, so those are the things that I like to leverage more, and it works, and people trust me more. And then, of course, the word of mouth gets better. What I meant by specials, somebody said, what do you mean by specials? Like I said, if I have home warranties, because insurance is insurance and warranties are warranties, they're different animals, right? As you can appreciate, agents. So if I have a special going on home warranties, I'll blast that out. Then they can't call me and say, well, why didn't my refrigerator, why isn't that covered? Why isn't mechanical breakdown covered? Well, we offered you this. We have auto warranties that we sell because we're a full service agency. We want to protect you on wear and tear and sudden incidental accidents. So I like to leverage my automations in a way that is protecting them and building the agency's premium and building the agency's retention and developing more trust.
Perfect answer. Great process. So now as we kind of come down to the stretch of our session today, so starting with you, Cash, so in a few minutes, like what's coming in 2026? What are your growth goals and how do you see InsuredMine supporting those?
My lofty goal is 250 new locations in 2026. And then, of course, by 2030, we want to have 1,000 locations. Each franchisee will buy in. They will have the most incredible comp plan. I'm going to help them become millionaires. They have transferability rights, so they can sell if they want to. So that has more. They're more locked in to growth. IM is going to make that happen because it keeps my margins light. Imagine if I had to get Epic seats for all these people, these new wonderful people. It wouldn't make sense. Plus, do I want people in my Epic? No. Epic is like it's like your physiology. You don't want to put trash in there. So you want to have key people entering stuff in Epic. But if I'm going to get 250 people, they can do that stuff on IM, and then my admin people can clean that stuff up and make sure it makes sense in IM. Because last thing, your numbers are everything. If you don't know your numbers, you're not going to make it. You got to know, are you profitable or not? And that's where IM has a different role. Epic gives you analytics, and you got to know how profitable you are, and that's why they're both important. And so yeah, that's my goal. And
Great, valuable insight. So let's go to New Hampshire. And so April, tell us a little bit about what 2026 has on the plate for you, and how InsuredMine will fit into that.
Well, we are in the process of partnering with a sister agency, so it will be twice as big. So I think a lot of my time will be spent with that team, trying them, getting to learn their processes as well as rolling out some of the InsuredMine benefits. We don't do a ton of automation, but every time I get on a call such as this, I'm like, okay, I got to let it go. And that's ironic because the bigger we get, then, you used to, you got to let go of some things go. I'm the M of HPM. So my dad started an agency, and then I sold it to the current agency owner. So I was used to a small little agency where I had my hands in everything. And, now at 5 locations throughout the state and many, 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 many clients, you can't hold on to everything. So that's my emotional journey that I will continue to battle into 2026, and InsuredMine will help me, as will a Sherpa. So.
Good. And Nikki, I know you've got some things on your 2026 plans.
Yeah, I want to come up with a win back campaign. I want to change different pipelines out. It's just a matter of how do you evolve it and how do you change it? And how do you get your staff on board to make sure that we use it properly and efficiently? So I just want to keep giving my staff the resources that they need. How do we automate as many things as possible to save them time and also to touch on our clients without being too obnoxious about it? But I'm telling you right now, there are so many good things that InsuredMine keeps rolling out. You guys keep evolving and changing. Every time I log in, I'm like, oh, what's that? That's new. So like, don't be afraid to look at the different things that they're coming up with. Because the new summarize thing within the pipeline, I didn't realize you could summarize a policy document thing, or it summarizes a deal cards I looked at the other day. There's so many new things that are going to really change the game. And I think it's just being willing to try and use all the new things that they put in there.
Yep.
Right. And so I know we're down to the stretch here in Montserrat, but while we're talking about 2026 planning, and you end up wrapping up the seminar here, I'm going to post in chat for everybody our 2026 planning survey. I'll put the link in there. It is just a 1-page. Take a few minutes to complete it, and think about what you want to achieve in 2026 with using InsuredMine, so that your customer success manager can kind of help you align those goals. And then after that, I'll post a link to our knowledge base on our new releases, because like Nikki said, we are always evolving, improving, based on whether it's a suggestion from Cash or April or Nikki or any of our clients, right? We all see value in how we can make the system better for the end user. So Montserrat, I'll go ahead and turn that back over to you while I post some things in chat.
Thank you, Paula. And I would say, if you have any requests, it's the time that you start asking for those requests, because we have opened the 2026 plan and future request pipeline. So we're excited to see what you guys have. As we discussed, probably it's going to be 1 month ago, almost, that we had the last webinar. We have released around so far more than 300 updates. Of course, it changed based on the AMSs, but this is huge. And InsuredMine is going really heavily in AI. So if you have any feedback or something that you want to see in InsuredMine that you have seen probably in other platforms or you have thought about it, let us know and we are happy to handle that and to review how we can implement it. So that is something that we're going to do. The pipeline is open, and I will ask Cash, April, and Nikki. Complete the sentence. InsureMine help us with.
Sanity.
Like it.
Growth and retention.
Nice. Nikki?
Those are good ones. It's helped to get us more organized, I would say, and to hit our deadlines and our goals.
That's amazing. So I would say thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm so happy to hear about all of this experience with you guys, how you feel about InsureMine, and of course, I mean, just to share with the audience, I work closely with the three of them. So I'm really happy to see when you started with InsureMine and how you have evolved the system, your process, and of course, how your agency is growing. So that's a really satisfaction for InsureMine and personally for myself. So really, really thank you guys.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome work. Awesome to work with you. I'm grateful you're in my life.
I agree. She's awesome.
Well, we wish everybody a joyous holiday season for all of our attendees and our panelists. So we greatly value your partnership, and we look forward to a stellar 2026.
Thank you.
so much.
Happy holidays and stay healthy.
Bye.
Bye bye.